Welcome to HU16's Live at 5. I'm Kaylee Evans.
And I'm Katie Clement. Authorities have identified the body found in the Arkansas River.
And an Arkansas representative is headed to Cuba. Your HU16 news starts right now. We come to you this evening with an update on a story from yesterday morning. The body of the man found in the Arkansas River has been identified as William Hobbs of North Little Rock. His body was sent to the Arkansas State Crime Lab after authorities retrieved it. The details on how long Hobbs' body was in the river is unknown, and the case is still under investigation.
Harding University will be holding a disaster drill tomorrow. This year's drill scenario is a residence hall fire. The university has put on disaster drills every spring since 2002. Other drills were based on earthquakes, fire, hazardous waste, explosion, and active shooter scenarios. These drills are to prepare the campus community should actual emergencies ever arise. Around 200 participants are expected to be in the drill.
Representative Rick Crawford from Jonesboro is headed to Cuba. Crawford will leave for Havana tomorrow and will return on Saturday. The trip is set to begin talks about opening up the island nation to trade with the United States. Crawford and fellow Representative Ralph Abraham of Louisiana will meet with farmers and local co-ops.
Little Rock police are working to identify the person who robbed a 19-year-old outside of an elementary school. The police report says officers were called Sunday evening about a potential robbery in the 1800 block of South Van Buren Street. The victim told police he was sitting on a bench by the playground at Franklin Elementary School listening to music on his Apple MacBook when a male suspect rode up on his bike. The suspect, who is believed to be between the ages of 15 and 20, pulled out a black semi-automatic pistol and demanded he put his laptop and phone in his backpack. The male suspect then took his backpack and rode off. If anyone has any information about the man's identity, they are asked to contact the Little Rock Police. And the Little Rock Police Department is investigating the assault and robbery of a Little Rock man. The 60-year-old victim, whose name has not been released, was standing outside a tax services store Saturday night when 8 men beat him and stole $59, a pack of cigarettes, and also a blue handheld screwdriver. The 8 suspects are reported to be in their mid-30s, and one of the suspects even threatened to kill the victim with the stolen screwdriver. The investigation is currently ongoing, and if you have any information on the case, please contact the Little Rock Police Department.
A body has been found along Interstate 30. The body of John David Widener of Fayetteville was found last night near Curtis Skies Drive in North Little Rock. An Arkansas State Police spokesperson says no suspect vehicle has been found and the collision was not seen. Widener's body has been taken to the Arkansas State Crime Lab for autopsy.
A 50-acre fire in Jefferson County is now under control. Crew says the fire started near Petty Road, about 5 miles west of Pine Bluff city limits. 3 tractors from the Arkansas Forest Fire Department, along with multiple volunteer fire departments, fought the blaze for hours. There are still some hot spots, but there is no longer a threat to the surrounding area.
Emergency dispatch workers in Batesville could soon be working for the county instead. Judge Robert Griffin proposed the plan to help resolve the disagreement between the city and county over dispatch pay. Judge Griffin says the plan will save Batesville $35,000 and the county $70,000. If implemented, the transition could take 4 months. The plan will be discussed at the next City Council meeting.
The Arkansas State Highway Commission approved bids to improve roadways in Craighead County. Atlas Asphalt Incorporated of Batesville was awarded the almost $3,000 contract. The road crews will resurface a mile of State Highway 49 between Old Bridger Road and Paragould Drive in Jonesboro. Atlas Asphalt was also awarded a second contract, this time worth almost $200,000, to resurface 2 miles of County Road 21. Construction on both projects is expected to begin within the next month, and completion is expected by the summer.
A Benton County Sheriff's deputy has resigned. Sergio Vasquez resigned yesterday after being arrested for public intoxication. He was found passed out in the passenger seat of a car that was stuck in a muddy field on Sunday night. Reporters say Vasquez told the officer on duty that he had left a party after an argument and got into the car with an unnamed woman. He says he asked the woman to take him home before he passed out, but when he woke up, she was gone.
A woman in Centerton is in the hospital after she was shot during a home invasion. According to police, the woman was at home when she said 2 intruders came in. After hearing them, the woman grabbed a gun and hid in her closet. Captain Christopher Arthur with the Centerton Police Department says they do not know who shot the woman, but she was awake as she was being transported to the hospital. Officers are patrolling the neighborhood now looking for 2 teenage suspects. They believe one may be wearing a red bandana.
A unique animal has been spotted in Bryant. A white squirrel was caught on camera by Bryant Police Officer Todd Croson. Steve Wildman Wilson of the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission says white squirrels are not uncommon. However, they are rarely seen. The white fur is a color phase and some squirrels can be solid black. And another world-class concert will be performed by the Arkansas Symphony Orchestra. The orchestra will play Shavatsky Symphony No. 5. The concert will be Saturday night at 7:30 and Sunday afternoon at 3 in the Model Performing Arts Center.
Coming up after the break, we will have a preview of the Wisconsin primary.
But first, let's take a look at your weather with Shannon Kears. Shannon?
Thanks, ladies. Well, we've been seeing a lot of really warm temperatures the last couple of days, but I'm sorry to inform you that will not be lasting throughout the rest of the week. We will be seeing some rain and fluctuating temperatures, and I'll have all of that for you after the break.
Ma?
In your new role, we help you help. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who once took care of you.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Welcome back to HU16 News. I'm Shannon Kears with the weather for today. We will be seeing some rain to come this week, and our temperatures are going to be going all up and down the 60s to the 70s, but there will be sun coming up to dry up all that rain that we're going to be seeing later. Temperature right now is 66 degrees, feels just like that. Cool down a lot from yesterday when we were in the 80s and the 90s, so unfortunately we won't be seeing much of that later this week. Wind right now is coming from the east at about 9 miles an hour, and our humidity is at about 47%. The average high for today is 70 degrees, average low about 45. Our record high of 98 was set in 1893, and a record low of 26 was set in 1920. Taking a look at our surface map, we've got a lot of our higher pressures are over on the east, the west side of the country, in the north, and also in the south by the Gulf of Mexico and up by the Great Lakes. We do have this one low pressure coming in almost curved past Texas. It's coming in from the north, curving past Texas out towards the southern part of California. That's bringing a lot of warmer temperatures down with it. We've got the 60s interrupting here in the 30s and the 40s. New York is actually seeing some freezing temperatures right now, and California is at the highest temperature of about 92 degrees right now. Arkansas, on the other hand, is seeing everywhere from the 60s to the 80s. Jonesboro is at 61 degrees, while Fayetteville is about 74. Little Rock is around 70. And over in Monticello, we're seeing 78. And then with the highest temperature right now, Texarkana is actually at 83 degrees. Looking at our allergy map up here, Arkansas is not really affected by much of this. We're seeing a little bit of grass pollen. It's not going to affect us much longer, though, because tomorrow we will be getting the rain that will be clearing up all that for us. Tonight, we're going to be seeing temperatures in around the 50s, and we're going to have some more wind than we're seeing right now. It's going to be about 11 miles an hour coming from the south-southeast. We're going to have some cloudy skies, and humidity is going to be at about 65%. As I mentioned, tomorrow we're going to be seeing some rain. It's going to be about 73 degrees, so temperature-wise will be good. Wind will be coming from the west-southwest at 18 miles an hour, and our humidity is going to be around 55%. Now, taking a look at our 5-day forecast, on Wednesday, as I mentioned, we're going to be seeing some rain. About 73 degrees is our high, 45 is our low. Thursday is going to be nice and sunny, about 76 degrees as our high, 43 as our low. Friday we'll be seeing a little bit of clouds in the sky. It's going to be mostly sunny, so there may be some cloud coverage, not too much though. It's also going to be around 68 degrees, so we'll be reaching back up towards the 70s as we were going down from there, and it's going to be about 42 as our low. Saturday is going to be partly cloudy at around 62 degrees. So as I mentioned, where temperatures are fluctuating here, going down to the lower 60s and then back up to the 70s on Sunday with a high of 75, and it's going to be sunny and windy. That's all I have here in weather. Now back to the news desk with Kaylee and Katie. Ladies?
Thanks, Shannon. Mississippi's governor has signed the state's religious freedom bill into law. Governor Phil Bryant announced today via Twitter that he had signed House Bill 1523. He says he did this to protect sincerely held religious beliefs and moral convictions of people in his state. Among other things, the legislation will allow businesses and religious groups to deny the LGBT community certain services such as counseling, wedding planning, and adoption support. A similar bill was recently vetoed by the governor of Georgia. And it's primary day in Wisconsin, and the remaining presidential candidates are hoping for a good day. Ted Cruz is currently leading the polls for the Republican nomination, and the Democratic win will be a toss-up. Diane Gallagher previews the election.
Wisconsin voters deciding which candidates come out on top Tuesday. Republicans have 42 delegates up for grabs. Donald Trump, coming off what many consider the worst week of his campaign, is polling behind Ted Cruz in the state and fighting to prove that none of that really matters.
We could have a big surprise tonight, folks. Big surprise.
Cruz, however, needs a win tonight with less friendly primary states ahead.
It's a big part of the reason why so many Republicans here in Wisconsin and across the country are unifying behind our campaign.
Now, the one thing that Cruz and Trump do agree on, it's time for John Kasich to call it quits.
The choice will be between me and Donald Trump.
Now, Kasich, who is not expected to win Wisconsin, says this is all going to be decided on the convention floor anyway.
Well, I'm not getting out. Why would I get out?
And now it's not just the Republicans counting on the convention. Bernie Sanders' campaign manager is now claiming that the senator, who is polling ahead here in Wisconsin, will take it all the way to Philadelphia.
It is very, very, very unlikely that either candidate, either Secretary Clinton or Senator Sanders, will go into the convention with a majority needed of pledged delegates in order to win.
The Clinton camp doesn't seem too worried.
There's not going to be any doubt, unlike on the Republican side, who the nominee is, going well ahead of the convention on our side.
Despite 86 delegates being up for grabs here in Wisconsin, Hillary Clinton's campaign seems to be focusing on New York instead. The delegate-rich state votes later this month. In Washington, I'm Diane Gallagher.
A United Airlines flight attendant is grounded. This coming after reports that she intentionally deployed a plane's emergency slide to make her exit. No one was hurt, but the action left some United customers a bit unnerved. Keith Garvin reports.
Even though you see it, it may be hard to believe what your eyes are witnessing, especially for those who experienced it firsthand. Take a look at this exclusive video obtained by Channel 2 as the emergency chute on United Airlines Flight 1246 deploys. The plane had just landed at Intercontinental around noon from Sacramento. After the chute deploys, you see a small bag fly out of the door about 15 feet below, and then you see a female flight attendant slide down the chute. Flight attendants are trained for this sort of thing in an emergency, and she apparently took that training seriously, sliding down the chute in textbook fashion. Passengers inside Bush were in utter disbelief.
That's insane. Why? Why would she do that?
Neither United nor investigators have revealed what led to the flight attendant's quick exit, but she doesn't appear to be too ruffled in this video. After sliding down the chute, she lands, takes a few steps, and gathers herself. She then grabs the bag that she threw down first and walks away.
This has to be a one-off. I mean, these folks work They put us first a lot of times, or else I wouldn't fly as much as I do. So I'm hoping that's just one case and not the rule.
A drug ring investigation on Cape Cod has led to 3 arrests in the murder of a woman whose body was found at a highway rest area last year. Federal authorities made the announcement at a press conference today. CNN has more on this story.
Guns, cash, and drugs. The evidence collected by investigators in nabbing the so-called Naughty Block street gang, responsible for a big part of the drug crisis on the Cape.
The callousness and constant deliveries of heroin cocaine throughout the Cape have caught the attention of authorities.
13 from the Cape charged by the U.S. Attorney. But the investigation also led to answers in the death of a 30-year-old Cape Cod woman in September who was shot and stabbed to death at a rest area in Hyannis on Route 6.
Just a short while ago, I had the opportunity to speak with Antonio Ferreira, the father of Christine Ferreira, to let him and his wife know that we have charged 3 defendants with the murder of their daughter.
The drug gang's leader, Denzel Chisholm, his sister Chanel, along with Tyrone Gomes, all facing murder charges. Court papers say they lured the victim to the rest area where Chisholm was waiting. He allegedly stabbed and shot the woman multiple times.
Ford announced plans today to build a new plant in Mexico. It will invest $1.6 billion in the facility, which will employ 2,800 workers. Ford insists there will not be a loss to U.S. jobs. The automaker has not said which cars will be built there, but has previously said 2 small cars, the C-Max and the Focus, will be moved out of a plant in Wayne, Michigan by 2018. That's about the time the Mexican plant is due to open. The 3,900 hourly workers at the Wayne plant, all of whom are members of UAW, have been promised that 2 new vehicles will begin production there.
A woman driver is in police custody after a high-speed police chase that spanned 2 states. Authorities say the suspect stole a Toyota Camry in Shawnee, Kansas. Police later found the woman in Independence, Missouri, and the chase was on. It ended in Kansas City, Kansas, when the suspect lost control of the vehicle. In addition to stealing the car, police say the suspect is also facing shoplifting charges.
First California, now New York, and possibly soon Washington, D.C. These cities will have a $15 minimum wage standard. A D.C. judge cleared the way yesterday for Washington residents to vote on such a measure in November. Sam Ford reports.
Lawyers for the Board of Elections left D.C. Superior Court after Judge Maurice Ross rejected technical challenges to putting a $15 minimum wage on the November ballot.
I'm going to see if we can schedule this on our agenda for our next board meeting, which is this Wednesday.
The proposal for the ballot would raise the current minimum wage of $10.50 an hour to $15 over the next 4 years. Proponents say it's about cost of living.
You got to have a living wage to be able to survive in the nation's capital. Unfortunately, a few people do still think that the old ways of doing things, exploiting low-wage workers and working people to the bone is the way to go.
I hear from residents across the city.
Mayor Bowser, who once opposed it, no longer does.
Prosperity is growing. We have to ensure that more Washingtonians can participate in that prosperity. If people don't have a good paying job, we won't be successful.
But in the street, we heard both support, opposition, and questions.
I don't think it's realistic.
People should be grateful for their jobs and perhaps raise it 50 cents.
$15 is, I don't even know if that's fully livable, but that is definitely a step in the right direction.
We are constantly hearing new information about how we can improve our health. And with all that information out there, it might seem a bit overwhelming. But researchers say there are some very simple things you can do to be healthier. With a few suggestions, here's Seth Kovar with today's Health Minute.
You can do them every day, and researchers say they keep health problems at bay. These are some activities that are not only fun, but are beneficial as well. Volunteering. It's more than just the good feeling you get from helping others. According to an American Journal of Public Health study, people who volunteer are better protected against stress. And researchers found those who don't give back as much had a 30% higher risk of dying after a stressful life event. Cooking. Studies show, for the most part, a home-cooked meal is healthier than one from a restaurant. Meals out may contain lots of salt, butter, and oil. A 2014 study in the journal Public Health Nutrition found people who regularly eat at home consume about 130 fewer calories than those who don't. And playing with your pets. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, caring for an animal has been shown to decrease blood pressure and cholesterol levels and take away feelings of loneliness. And that's on top of all the calories you burn taking Spot or Fido for a walk. For today's Health Minute, I'm Seth Kovar.
And now let's head over to the sports desk with Bo Smith.
What's going on in sports today, Bo?
Well, ladies, coming up in sports, I have a ton of score updates from several Harding games, plus a highlight of yesterday's championship game. Keep it here.
Wake the sun, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
Oh, look, a redhead. Staring contest. You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
You were looking right at us. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
I taught him how to hit a baseball. How to hit a receiver. The strike zone. The net. You taught him how to hit the upper corner. You even taught him how to hit the open man. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit?
Welcome back to HU16. Harding's women's tennis team was victorious again yesterday as they defeated GAC opponent Ouachita Baptist 8-1. Aside from one singles match, the Lady Bisons won every single match yesterday and improved to 12-5 overall with a conference record of 2-1. Junior Piper Huey won her 2 sets at the #1 singles spot and is now within 3 wins to reach her career 50th win. The Lady Bisons will be back in GAC action this Thursday as they host Henderson State. And the Harding women's golf team finished up round 1 yesterday in the Bear State Bank Invitational with a score of 340. This puts the Lady Bisons in 11th place out of the 13 teams in the tournament. Caitlin Walker and Delaney Bowles were the top Lady Bison finishers, both shooting an 80, which put them at a tie for 23rd overall. The Lady Bisons will wrap up the Invitational today. And the men's golf team is also in action, and currently they are tied in 9th place after 2 rounds at the Argonaut Invitational with a total score of 597. Sophomore Alan Anderson leads the Bisons with a total score of 146. He shot a 75 in round 1 and a 71 in the second round, putting him in 19th place overall. But just because he's in 19th place doesn't mean he's too far behind. He's actually only 7 strokes behind the leader. The Bisons are currently playing in the final round. And currently in baseball, a few runs early in yesterday's game was all that was needed to keep Southern Arkansas ahead of Harding in the 3rd game of a 3-game series. The Mule Riders scored the first runs of the game in the 2nd inning, putting them up by 3. They would later score 2 more runs in the game. The Bison scored 1 run in 3 innings in a row, but the bats went cold after the 5th inning and they lost 5-3. The GAC loss puts the Bisons at 9th place in the conference, but there's a bright side to this story. It's that the Bisons are just one game behind Arkansas Tech, who holds the 8th spot in the GAC tournament with just 4 series left in the season. As we take a look at our live shot at Jerry Moore Baseball Field, Harding is currently hosting Central Baptist College right now, and the score is currently 7-5 in the top of the 9th inning. Central Baptist was catching up in the 7th inning, but the Bisons just scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th, and if they maintain their defense right now, they can take the game today. And if you were watching the NCAA basketball championship last night, it was a nail-biter, and if you missed out, I feel sorry for you. North Carolina was down by 3 points in the final 10 seconds of the game, but Marcus Page sent the ball up on a wing and a prayer and made the basket, tying the game with less than 5 seconds. It looked like the game was going into overtime, but Villanova drove down the court and passed the ball to Chris Jenkins. Jenkins shot from downtown, and boom, buzzer goes off. Everyone storms the court, and Villanova wins 77-74, as the Wildcats are now the national champions in basketball. It was an excellent conclusion to the season, and it was also a thrilling surprise tournament as well. That's all I have here in sports. Now let's pass it back to the news desk. Ladies?
Thanks, Bo. Coming up, we will take a look at box office results from this weekend.
Stay with us.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
Don't let E. coli mosh with your food. An estimated 3,000 Americans die from a foodborne illness each year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So always separate raw meat from vegetables. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
We were drawn here from all 50 states and more than 50 different nations. We are 7,000 students of languages, arts, sciences, and life. As diverse as our origins and as different as our backgrounds are, it's remarkable how much we have in common here in this place of faith, learning, and living. Harding University.
Well, Kaylee, did you see any superheroes or talking animals this weekend?
I did, and plenty of other people did too. David Daniel checks out the top 5 at the box office.
Miracles from Heaven managed a third weekend in the top 5, taking in $7.6 million. God's Not Dead 2 opened in 4th place, earning $8.1 million, less than the original's debut 2 years ago. My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2 spent a second straight weekend in 3rd place, picking up $11.1 million.
Sheep never let me get this close. You can't just touch a sheep's wool. It's like cotton candy.
Zootopia is staying hot. The animated adventure crossed the $275 million mark in domestic grosses with a second place weekend worth $20 million. Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice stayed on top in its second weekend with $52.4 million, a drop-off of nearly 70% from its debut. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Thank you for watching Live at 5 with all your news, your weather, and your sports.
And remember, you can watch us anytime, anywhere on the link at streaming.harding.edu. Have a great night.